This is your 2020 Subaru Crosstrek, mostly a carryover model from 2019. Let's go into the perks, quirks, and irks. So this is the top trim limited, so it's got everything. So you have LED day runners and LED headlights and LED fog lights. You do get halogen turn signals, but they're big and bright as far as the shape goes. So, I usually like the LEDs all around, but no matter for this one. Little chrome bar just separating the logo from top to bottom. And overall, pretty good look up front. Very, very Subaru. And you can see with the day runners, it kind of has that C shape. So top, down, and then across the bottom. And as soon as we get to the rear, you'll see how the rear lights also mirror that. There's a quick look at where we started. The top trim limited does have chrome door handles, whereas every other trim has the body color door handles. And I kind of prefer the body color door handles myself. That's my 2 cents on that. A big perk for me are the rims, because it's a little bright now, but if it's a little darker, and you see it just right, it looks like those chrome pieces on the outside are just standing alone and there's no actual hub to the wheel. So I think it looks really cool, really sharp. Here's a bit of a quirk. The wheel arches aren't perfectly round, as you can see. It starts off around there and then it kind of straightens out, dips in a bit, and then goes back to the bottom. I'll get my finger out of the way to give you a look. I kind of wish they were just a little more on the perfectly round shape, but hey, that's just me. Side profile of the vehicle, kind of a quirk, kind of an irk. There's that chrome line just where the window meets the door, and it just looks a little unfinished to me. I would have rather had it go all the way around to the top windows, curving around the back, and meeting then again at the bottom. But that's just my personal preference. You do get LED turn signals in your side mirrors. Let's take a look around the rear, give you a rear quarter look before we get there. Nice look, nice spoiler, very sharp in the side, not quite side spoilers, but this black plastic cladding kind of just coming in that way. So there are, actually I'll go on the dark a little bit, or out of the sun. So just like your day runners, it has that nice C shape, halogen turn signals again. And there's a look at the rear. Not too bad. I've always liked the look of the Crosstrek. Not overly aggressive, but definitely rugged looking. No visible tailpipes. No big deal. It's all right with me. There's your backup camera right there, and let's take a look in the trunk. Cargo figures will be on the screen now, with seats up as well as seats down. There is a privacy cover that I've taken out just to give you a look at what your storage space is like. Taking a look at the rear seats of the 2020 Crosstrek, big perk, lots of legroom. This is my normal seating position, pretty much all the way up, all the way back, and you can see just how much legroom the rear passengers have, well, except for that middle person who's got to split their feet between the hump, but overall, lots of legroom in the Crosstrek, nicely done. This is the top trim limited, so you do get leather seats and you do get the nice contrasting orange stitching. To get your seats folded forward, simply just pull this up. You see the red to show it's disengaged. You do that with your seats, pull them down, one, other, both, and then when you push it back in, it goes down to show that it's fully locked. You have your cup holders there, as well as 2 in the door. And lastly, the seatbelt for the middle passenger is right there, and it comes across that way through that little loop and eventually ends up in there to keep your middle passenger safe. This is what you'll see if you're sitting behind me, well, through the headrest, but anyways, you know what I mean. That's a front look at the front from the rear. Perk, Subaru has the lovely and very functional adjustable headrest, not only up and down, but forwards, backwards, because our shoulders, neck, and heads are all different sizes. Taking a look up front, let's start with the inside of the door panel. The only place you'll see the orange stitching here is just along the armrest. I think it's a nice move. Just adds a little bit of flair to it. You have this nice soft touch material here and here, carbon fiber here, and a little bit of metal that scoops around all the way here. It's just a nice clean look, and I think it looks nice. This, again, being the limited, does have the 8-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, which sounds terrific, loud, bassy, boomy, and crisp all at the same time. Aluminum pedals, nice touch. So let's talk seats real quick. Side bolsters, full marks, absolute perk. They're thick. They're actually pretty firm to keep you in place. Thigh bolsters, not great, not bad, just average. I would have liked them to be a little taller, but that's just me. And again, orange stitching continues throughout. Let's get the car started up, and we'll give you a quick look. So we have our dashboard with a digital screen in the middle. You got the top screen. You have your 8-inch infotainment screen. I'll back up and give you a look. So you get the date on the top screen. I'm listening to Dave Matthews, so that's what I get in the infotainment. and this is your middle screen. So basically you run through these here, right there, and that adjusts what you see there. Before we get to that, a big perk for me is a small attention to detail with these nice, I'm going to call them bronze, but I think they're orange to match the stitching. Just the nice rings on the inside of the analog dials. Very nice move, and you can see right there, there's the orange stitching that continues. This is pretty cool. With your auto start stop, it shows you the elapsed time that it's been activated for, as well as how much fuel you've saved. So through my week of driving of about 350 kilometers, I've been using it for 13 minutes and 6 seconds, and I've saved 239 milliliters of fuel. Nice incentive to keep using the system. So I'm gonna go over a cool quirk here. I'm just gonna set this down. So it's a picture of the car. No big deal, right? My foot's now off the brake, and if you take a look right there at the brake pedal, or the brake light at the back of the car, it reacts to when my foot's on the brake. In addition to that, when I put the signal on, you can see, so my signal to turn left is on, and the left indicator is on there. And on the right side, it's a little less easier to see, but it's definitely there. So 8-inch infotainment system, really, really easy to use, very, very reactive. There's a very little lag, so let's go to, I don't know, come on. Oops. That was user operator error on my behalf, not Subaru's behalf. I think that's funny. Whoever had the car last called their driver profile Mr. Poohead. I know, I'm into childish humor sometimes. Anyway, so it's pretty easy to use as far as getting what you need out of it. So full marks for me on that. And yes, there's a CD player. I don't think that's going to be here next year, but hey, that's just me. Nice hard touch buttons to kind of get you through your tune scroll and your volume. HVAC, full marks again, because, well, it's just so easy to use, and all dials. And with the mode, nothing shows up here because there's no screen, but your mode shows up at the top. You can see the thing scrolling just about middle of your screen. So pretty nicely done there. Gear shift, same as usual from last year. I don't care for the piano black because it catches fingerprints. I wish it was not piano black, but it's okay. Storage and some power sources, all tucked under there, out of sight, so I like that. I don't want to be staring at USB ports all the time. Manual handbrake, definite perk for me, and it kind of angles up a little bit, so I'll take it down and kind of show you how it goes straight, and then you pull it up, and it angles towards me. Your heated seats, your X mode, and your couple of cup holders are there as well. You get a sunroof with this, not a full-size one, it's the regular size one, but yeah, no matter, it's all right. And a couple of controls down there, as well as your sunroof controls and your lights. The eyesight system is here. We'll get into more of that for the drive portion, but again, if you're not familiar with Subaru or the Crosstrek or any of the other models, this eyesight system is absolutely fantastic. Last quick note on the storage bin. I really like, as a massive perk, how Subaru didn't just cut it off here. They actually give you a little bit of extra space here, and that's really good for your elbows, because I think your elbow would have fallen just down there. At least mine would have anyway, so that's a nice little extra touch attention to detail. Let's do the drive. 2020 Subaru Crosstrek, under the hood, 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, putting out 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque, all through Subaru's CVT and their legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive system. The irk and the problem here is the car's underpowered. Simply put, it's not dangerous by any means, it's not that slow, but I wish there was a little more horsepower, and more importantly, I wish there was more torque. Thankfully, in August of 2020, which is about a month from now, Subaru is coming out with a mid-cycle refresh for the second generation Crosstrek, which will give buyers the option to pick up a 2.5-liter engine. The ride quality is absolutely fantastic. It is smooth, it is quiet. The handling and responsiveness and cornering, full marks to Subaru on that. And to me, that takes away a little bit of the harshness regarding having such low power figures. On the limited trim, you get the eyesight safety suite. I will put a list of that on that side of the screen, and it works very well, and I'm very happy that Subaru has made this more widely available. Now, on the manual versions of the Crosstrek and any Subaru offering, you can't get the eyesight. Just simply put, you do emergency braking in a manual vehicle where the eyesight does it for you and you stall. That's that's pretty much the main reason you can't do it. Fit and finish the interior, really high marks. You know, there's soft touch materials, there's a blend of materials, infotainment screen, 8 inches, really easy to use, right in your line of sight. That upper screen, not really a big fan of it. Sorry, I wasn't really a big fan of it, but if you kind of just set it where you need it to be, it doesn't really become too intrusive. But I do like how it's higher up above the infotainment screen, so it's even more in your line of sight. That sounded funny, even more. Anyways, I'm gonna keep that in there. The seats are very comfortable. Steering wheel, nice, easy to grab onto, easy to hold, no real uncomfortable spots on it. And just the overall look of the cabin in the Crosstrek just gives it a nice, good look. And I know Subaru wants to have this as your adventure vehicle and your outdoorsy vehicle. And there's a ton of ground clearance, and you know, there's the roof rails up top, and just a really nice design. And I think, you know, it's not going to replace traditional off-road vehicles, but if you got a cottage or you're doing some, you know, trekking through non-paved roads, I think that the Crosstrek is a good option for you. Running fuel consumption in liters per 100 kilometers, because we are in Canada, 8.5 in the city, 7 on the highway, and a blended total of 7.9. Fuel tank is 63 liters, a little big in my opinion for a vehicle of this size, but it does take regular 87 octane. The 2021 Crosstrek, we will see a new outdoor trim and a few other little cosmetic changes. But that's not to say that 2020 isn't worth at least looking into. Not everybody's going to buy this for power, and to me it's underpowered, but not dangerous at all. You know, you'll always have enough power, which just means your revs are going to spike up pretty high. But you know, give this a good solid look if you're in the market for, you know, a rugged looking standard all-wheel drive crossover. That's going to wrap up the review for the 2020 Subaru Crosstrek. If you have any questions on the vehicle, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be back sooner than later with my next review.